3, 2, damn it. Hey everybody, well this is like the 4th time I've tried to record this little intro, but thank you for clicking on the video. Ryan here, this is my best friend Toby.
Hey guys.
And we have been talking about for a long time doing like a podcast or something like that because we've been friends for so long and we talk about movies, music and whatever for so much that we figured, you know, what the heck, let's just do like a podcast or something. We just haven't gotten around to doing it. And so finally decided to go ahead and just start by doing it. And the reason why I decided not to do a podcast is because the microphone that I've had for so long no longer works. So we're going to use the good old camcorder, and yeah, so we're doing this. Toby, how the heck are you?
I'm good, man. How you been?
Doing good. And obviously this is like the first one, so we're still getting used to doing this. And but we were just going to talk about a bunch of random things in this series, stuff that we are into, and we're kind of looking at each other right now because we have the actual camera like face, because I want to be able to see how much time I have left on the tape. Not the tape, but yeah, in the file. But anyways, so we have been friends. How long have we been friends?
Right now, a little over 19 years.
And when did we meet?
It was August 1999.
1999?
Yep.
Oh, God. I completely forgot it was that long. Okay, so we were in 6th grade. And I don't know. I know, like, when I first remember meeting you, like, we were in band. Right? That wasn't in band, or we had the same classes.
We had every same class.
Yeah, but I think the first time I remember seeing you was, like, when we were in band. And
because I remember we didn't sit next to each other in history, or maybe it was in English that we actually sat next to each other and conversed or something. But band, I mean, we sat next to each other for, I don't know, for the longest time after that.
Yeah, and I think the first time like we actually, we really connected was, I don't know how we got on the topic, but we were talking about, wasn't it you telling me about the Tom Green show?
Yeah, I think, well, that was one of the things that made us click. We both had a mutual interest in Tom Green show.
Yeah, and
the music at that time, too.
Yeah, and we were, I don't know, we immediately connected. And so, I know, like, we also connected because we were, like, kind of into the same stuff. I know, like, in elementary school, I was, like, big into Green Day, and my brother Joe, my oldest brother, got me into like Blink, and I know that was one of the things we also connected over. We were like into the same music, but you had a huge library of music, and I was like, dude, you have so much more than me.
You thought so?
Yeah, you had way more than me. Remember, like, we would spend like hours just like burning, like you burned me like 1,000,000 copies of a bunch of CDs.
Of course, but I mean, I didn't feel like I had that much. I just thought, I don't know. I mean, I lived by CD Connection.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you know.
CD?
And at the same time, they would sell used CDs. So even if you walk in with $20, you could still walk out with about, 3 to 4 CDs.
Yeah. And, just kind of paraphrasing, we had a band together. We played music together. But, so music and movies too. But music has been like a huge part of like our lives. And, I guess I'll start with you. Like,
yeah.
What is your earliest memories like with music? Like obviously we've heard music our whole lives, but
of course,
what was like your earliest memory? Was it like with your parents, or was it just stuff you heard on the radio? Like, what's your earliest memories with music?
Well, of course, it would probably start out with my parents. My dad was a huge Elvis fan, things like that. I wouldn't say I followed his footsteps, but I mean, that's what I was exposed to. After that, I don't remember this, but my sister always swears by it. There's that REM song, that's me in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to sing that song a lot when I was like 3 years old. when that was really popular. I have no memory of that whatsoever. But then when Green Day Dookie came out, I was really into that album. My sister got it. It was, what, 94? I was, yeah, too little to probably be listening to that, but I still did anyways. I remember my sister was having a pool day, and when she was having a pool day, she was playing that, and I thought that was a really, really cool, album. And I didn't hear too much, of that album unless I was around her. Then after that, it was probably, well, my sister, she'll probably deny it, but in 95, it was 311.
Oh,
she
really?
was playing 311 all the time. And I know my sister's more into more indie-ish bands, bands that most people haven't really heard of. But, yeah, she was really into 311, so I got into that too. Then fast forward to 97, my sister moves out. Was it 97? Yeah, 97. And she actually left a few CDs, which I don't think she meant to do on purpose. But the ones that she did leave were Real Big Fish, Turn the Radio Off, Goldfinger, the self-entitled album, and I want to say, I mean, there were some more CDs she left, but nothing that spiked my interest. She didn't leave me the Green Day CD. I think I had to get my own. But just the fact that she left me Goldfinger and Real Big Fish, that really got me turned on to, like, just following through with punk rock. Oh, she did leave me that 311 CD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the 311 CD that I still have today is from 95.
Wow.
And
we both have, like, the benefit of having siblings that are older than us that, like,
absolutely
exposed us to music that we probably wouldn't have listened to.
Of course not.
Because of that, like, my oldest brother, he's 18 years older than me. He, growing up, I always saw, like, all the Beatles albums, Van Halen, Metallica. He had all the Green Day albums, and he pretty much exposed me and my brother Joe to a lot of stuff. My parents listen to music all the time, so, like, I feel like I listen to a lot of oldies, and then everything from, like, the 70s and 80s, from, like, when my brother Wayne got me into all that stuff. And so it's funny that you say that about, like, your sister and stuff, because it was kind of the same thing for me. And, like,
of course.
And I remember the first time I heard that Green Day Dookie album, I was like, man, this is something I have never heard before. Like, I think the memory I had of, like, something more modern before that was Nirvana's, Nevermind came out.
Of course, yeah.
And, like, I always heard, like, my brother listening to that, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is, like...
One of the biggest things that actually exposed me to music was Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
Because I was too little to watch it, but my parents didn't care anyways. They would actually record every episode for me.
Oh,
Do you remember when we were younger, I showed you
Yeah,
all the ones that they recorded? They had the VCR on a timer. So, like, there were so many bands on there that I've seen videos for that, I actually still remember them. Like, even bands like Helmet, which, if some people still remember it, they had a couple of good songs. But, yeah, like, I still remember music videos from that era. And I wouldn't say I was into the music, but I was still exposed to it. And, still just the memories there. Even with Green Day, dude.
Yeah.
Like, my sister was always watching MTV back then. She was, 94? She was 16. She was, MTV was life for them back then.
They actually showed music videos.
They did. And you remember, Green Day was always on. So it was just being exposed to it that way, too. And they would actually play Green Day, I think, back then, even on 95.1.
Yeah, I remember hearing... I mean, this was before Nimrod came out, before, like, Time of Your Life, was all over the radio. But hearing, like, Basket Case, like, on the radio, like, I remember hearing that, like, on...
Yeah, I want to say I heard it on 95.1.
And, which you guys are not in this area. 95.1 is, like, the station that has...
Top 40s.
Yeah, top 40s, like... It's the main station where...
And it's always been around. I think they've been around since 1962, something like that.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time.
A very long time.
They're like the...
And here in Jacksonville, we only have 2 top 40 stations, and 97.9 that came out in 1999. I want to say.
Yeah, it was fairly recent.
Yeah.
And compared to 95.1, and basically you knew a band was popular if they were on that, just because it was like top 40 stuff, and you heard the same stuff all the time.
Oh god, even when Blink was really popular, like 18 years ago, like All the Small Things, What's My Age Again? Yeah, that was on 95.1.
And so
that was on 97.9 also.
Yeah. And so basically we're like, with this first video, we're kind of giving like a foundation of some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about more elaborately in the future. So kind of want to switch gears a little bit and switch it to movies. This is also something that me and him have. We quote movies to each other all the time, and
Ryan's the encyclopedia. For me, I'm just a watcher. But I know a couple of things where I don't know exactly what his name was, but like I was still like, we were just watching Back to the Future earlier, and I still know about a lot of things, that happened during the filming there. My facts aren't right, and he always corrects me, but still.
And I say, no, that's not right. You need to learn that. No, I don't do that.
No, I just rely too much on Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia is great. So movies is something that obviously I've had this channel for since 2011. So like everybody on this channel knows how I am with movies, and so but me and you also watch movies all the time together, and it's kind of funny things. Like I used to buy a lot of movies. Like when I'd spend the night at his house, he lived near Target, and we would go to Target, and I bought so many movies with my allowance, and we never watched any of those movies. It was funny because we would go to Target and I'd buy all these movies and be like, hey, look what I got. And
exactly.
I guess like deep down in my brain I thought, maybe we could watch this tonight, but it never really worked out. But
we would end up playing 007.
Yeah. But
doing other things.
So I guess in regards to movies, what are some early memories you have? Not even just with movies, and you could talk, if you even want to talk about like movies that we started watching together, and that's cool too.
Well, like actually my first movie that I liked, this sounds really, really corny, but this is when I was like a baby, was Look Who's Talking with Christy Alley and John Travolta. And from there on, of course, man, I was just a kid. But like, I guess when I got into more adult movies, I really don't know when and where that happened, probably when I was like maybe around 8, when I could actually understand and comprehend things, That's where I had a better interest in movies,
Because I know when I was younger, like my big thing was, like my mom tells me all the time, when I was like a kid, basically an infant, Michael Keaton was like the guy like that I always paid attention to.
What's that movie? Multiplicity?
Yeah, Multiplicity.
Yeah, love that movie.
Nathan Pizza?
Yeah.
And so like with me it was really Batman, and I have the benefit of like my mom like being just as a hardcore like cinephile as I am, and she's the one who kind of got me into all that. And like just the fact that even as a kid, I know I was probably way too young to be watching it, but I watched Batman like on repeat.
Me too.
Like on repeat, and I remember, so anything with Michael Keaton in it. So even to this day, I'll say Michael Keaton is my favorite actor, and like, yes, he's not like, even though I think he's incredibly talented, but he's, I love like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Marlon Brando, all these famous, great actors. Michael Keaton, you don't really hear his name on like the same line with those actors, but he's still...
I'd say he's more universal.
Yeah.
Because he can be comedic too.
Yeah.
Where, Pacino, they've had, I would say comedic roles, but it wasn't like, I would say, a role that suited them very well. De Niro, he could do it.
Yeah.
Keaton, though, he was very, he can be a good guy, a bad guy, he can be a superhero, whatever. Batman 2, definitely some of my favorite movies, from that time when we were really little.
Yeah. Multiplicity is a comedic gem.
And what was that one movie he did, man? Because I remember this from when I was probably around that same time, where he's about to die.
Oh, My Life?
Yes, I remember that one.
I love that movie, but it is so depressing.
Because, like, he's making these videos for his son to watch when he's not here. Like, oh, like teaching him how to shave. Like, oh, this is how you want to go like this, whatever, you know.
And then remember when Michael Scott did that in The Office? The intro to that one episode, like he was recording it. He was recording himself. He's like, "This is how you take off a bra."
Oh, God. Oh, yes. I remember that.
He was like, "Pam, come here," and then
she's
like, "What?"
Yeah, then that goes into the.
And then it's Dwight. Then it's Dwight. Him taking off Dwight's bra.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it. Press record, Dwight. 3, 2," and he presses record, and he's like, "Ugh." Yeah. Every time that part of The Office comes, it kills me every single time.
That's another way we relate. We both watch The Office. We're big fans of that show and the actors that are in there, actors, actresses.
Seinfeld. Well, my voice just cracked, but it's been cracking my whole life.
Not much has changed in almost 20 years.
Yeah, and
because I basically met you when we both started going through puberty.
Yeah, because I mean, there's footage that you have of me in your bathroom, like probably like trying to like pop zits and stuff like on my face. That. I used to have what they call a pepperoni pizza face. And yeah.
Yeah, but at least you got yours earlier. For me, I got mine, I would say in my later teens, like 16, 17.
And this was before, this was back like, I do remember though, I used to, you'd be like, "Hey Ryan, you got some face wash in there," and it'd be like Proactiv or something like that. Because I didn't have that in my house.
That was the only thing that worked for me, man.
And it's funny, like when I see like all these Proactiv commercials on now, I'm like, gosh, they're like new and improved formula. I was like, man, what were we using back then? Like, why didn't we have this? Yeah, what's changed? All right, well, enough about Proactiv. I feel like we just did a commercial for Proactiv, but one thing I realized is that like when we first like got reconnected a couple years ago, we would like be like a lot of our conversation. Remember, like at first, like we were talking about deals we would get at the grocery store.
Yeah,
it was like, it's funny because like our conversation like was way different from like way back in the day. It's because now we're adults and we have adult lives.
But we're talking about BOGOs at Publix.
Yeah, and like, man, this roll of paper towels is like so much better, and you can get it so much cheaper. So I'm sure you guys know exactly what we're talking about. You guys talk with your friends about that kind of stuff too.
I'm still a Bounty man.
Yeah. Well, I don't go. I always get Bounty. I always get the roll. It's like,
I tried Viva one time. I wasn't a fan.
No, every single time I get any other brand, it works out terrible. But so basically, that's going to be it for this first episode. I kind of wanted to kind of jump full into this and just kind of give a little foundation for this series to like build on, where you know more about Toby, more about me, just kind of like our history of our like friendship, that kind of thing, to where my voice just cracked again. But to where you could relate to what we're talking about more, and you just have a little bit of background. So thank you guys so much for watching this. Thanks, Toby, for jumping on board and doing this series.
Of course.
And we will see you in the next episode.